Daf Yomi, Tractate Horayot, page 12a, top of the page, with the words Umi Hava Shemen HaMishcha. The Gemara asks with regard to the fact that Yehoshua was anointed, and was there anointing oil during the days of Jehoahaz, Vehatanya? Ishinignaz Aaron, Ignaz Shemen Mishcha, Vitzinsene et Haman, Umaklo Shel Aharon, Shekedia Ufrachea Ve'argaz Sheshalchu Plishtim Doron לישראל, שנאמר ואת כלי הזהב אשר השבותם לו אשם תשימו בארגז בצידו ושילחתם אותו והלך. The Gemara asks, was there anointing oil during the days of Jehoahaz? But isn't it taught in a Braita? When the Ark of the Covenant was sequestered, the anointing oil and the jar of manna, see Exodus 16:33, and Aaron's staff with its almonds and blossoms, see Numbers 17:23, and the chest that the Philistines sent as a gift to Israel, were all sequestered with it, as it is stated, and you shall take the Ark of the Lord and lay it upon the cart, and put the vessels of gold that you return him as a guilt offering in a chest by its side and send it away, that you may go. 1 Samuel 6:8. ומי גנזו? יאשיהו מלך יהודה גנזו, אשר ראה שכתוב בתורה, יולך לשמותך ואת מלכך וגומר. ציווה וגנזום, שנאמר, ויאמר ללוויים המבינים לכל ישראל הקדושים להשם, תנו את ארון הקודש בבית אשר בנה שלמה בן דוד מלך ישראל, אין לכם מסע בכתף, עתה עבדו את השם אלוקיכם ואת עמו ישראל. Who sequestered the ark? Josiah, king of Judah, sequestered it, as he saw that it is written in the Torah, in the portion of rebuke, the Lord will lead you, and your king, whom you shall establish over you, unto a nation that you have not known. Deuteronomy 28:36. We just read this today. This is really good timing. He commanded, and the people sequestered them, as it is stated, and he said to the Levites who taught all Israel, and who are sacred unto the Lord, place the sacred ark in the room that Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, built. There shall be no more burden upon your shoulders. Now serve the Lord your God and his people Israel. 2 Chronicles 35, verse 3. V'amar Rabbi Elazar, Atya sham, Atya mishmeret, Atya dorot, Amar Papa v'afaras madachia. And Rabbi Elazar says one derives a verbal analogy between the term there, written with regard to the ark, see Exodus 29:43, and the term there, written with regard to the jar of manna, see Exodus 16:33, and between the term keepsake, written with regard to the jar of manna, see Exodus 16:33, and the term keepsake, written with regard to Aaron's staff, see Numbers 17:25-26, and between the term generations, written with regard to the jar of manna, see Exodus 16:33, and the term generations, written with regard to the anointing oil, see Exodus 30:31. By means of these verbal analogies, it is derived that all these items were sequestered. The Papa said, they anointed Jehoahaz with pure balsam oil, not with anointing oil. Tanu Rabbanan, Ketzad Moshchin et Hamalachim, Kimin Nezeo, Vet HaKohanim, Kimin Ki, Mai Kimin Ki, Amar Rav Menashia, Bargada Kemin Kaf Yavani. The sages taught, how does one anoint the kings? One smears the oil in a manner that is similar to the form of a crown around his head. And how does one anoint the priests? One smears the oil in a shape like the Greek letter Chi. The Gemara asks, what is the meaning of like the Greek letter Chi? Rabbi Nashir Bar Agada says, like the Greek equivalent of the Hebrew letter Kaf. Okay. Tanechada Batchila Motkin Shemen al Rosho Ve'achar Kach Notin Lo Shemen Ben Riseina Betanya Achriti Batchila Notnin Lo Shemen Ben Risei Einav Ve'achar Kach Motkim Lo Shemen al Rosho Tanai Yikad Yamri Mashiach Adiva Yikad Yamri Yitzik Adiva. It is taught in one Braita. Initially, they pour oil on the priest's head, and thereafter they place oil for him between the lashes of his eyes. And it is taught in a different Braita. Initially, they place oil for him between the lashes of his eyes, and thereafter they pour the oil on his head. More explains, it is a dispute between Tanaim. Some say anointing with oil between his eyes is preferable and takes precedence. And some say pouring oil on his head is preferable and takes precedence. My time, ויצוק משמן המשחה על ראש הארון וימשך אותו לקדשו. ומאי דבר משיחה עדיפה, מאי תימה, כסבר שכן אתה מוצא אצל כלי שרת. יכתיב ויצוק בסוף וימשך. הכי כמה, מאי טעם ויצוק משום de vayim shach. What is the reason for the opinion of the one who said that pouring oil on his head is preferable? It is, as it is written, and he poured from the anointing oil upon Aaron's head and anointed him to sanctify him. Leviticus 8:12, indicating that pouring precedes anointing. And the one who said that anointing is preferable, takes precedence, was the reason for his opinion. He holds anointing takes precedence, as that is what you find with regard to service vessels. See Numbers 7:1. They were anointed, but the anointing oil was not poured on them. The Gemara asks, but isn't it written with regard to the priests, and he poured, and ultimately and anointed? The Gemara answers, this is what the verse is saying. What is the reason that he poured the oil? It is due to the fact that he had already anointed them. Anointing is the primary component of the process. Tanu Rabbanan, Yishem Atov v'gomer Yod Zekan Zekan Aharon v'gomer Kemin Shnei Tipe Margol Yod Hayu Tilu Yod לאהרון בזקנו. אמר רב פאפא תנא, כשהוא מספר עולות ויושבות לו בעיקר זקנו. והדבר זה היה משה דואג, אמר שמא חס ושלום אל תהי בשמן המשחה. יצאתה בת קול ואמרה כשמן הטוב וגומר כטל חרמון. מה טל חרמון? אין בו מעילה אף שמן המשחה שבזקן אהרון אין בו מעילה. The sages taught it is like the precious oil upon the head coming down upon the beard, Aaron's beard, that comes down upon the collar of his garments. Psalms 133 verse 2. 2 drops of anointing oil shaped like pearls, were suspended for Aaron from his beard. Rav Papa said that it is taught when Aaron would speak and his beard would move, those drops would miraculously rise and settle on the roots of his beard so that they would not fall. Moses was concerned about this matter. He said, perhaps, heaven forbid, heaven forfend, I misused the consecrated anointing oil and poured more than necessary, as 2 additional drops remained. A divine voice emerged and said, it is like the precious oil upon the head coming down, upon the beard, Aaron's beard, that comes down upon the collar of his garments, like the dew of Hermon. Psalms 133, 2-3. This analogy teaches, just as there is no misuse of the dew of Hermon, which was not consecrated, so too, with regard to the anointing oil that is on Aaron's beard, there is no misuse of consecrated property. V'adayin haya Aaron doeg, amar shema Moshe lomar, aval ani ma'alti, יצאת בת קול, אמרה לו, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. מה משה לא מעל? אף אתה לא מעלת. And still Aaron was concerned. He said, perhaps Moses did not misuse consecrated property, but perhaps I misused consecrated property. As the additional oil is on my beard, and I enjoy it, a divine voice emerged and said, behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brothers to dwell together in unity. Psalms 133, verse 1. Just as your brother Moses did not misuse consecrated property, so too you did not misuse consecrated property. Tanu Abanan, ein moshchim et malachim, ela al hamayan. כדי שתמשך מלכותם, שנאמר, ויאמר המלך להם קחו עמכם את עבדי אדוניכם, זה גומר, והורדתם אותו אל גיחון. The sages taught one anoints the kings only upon a spring, as an omen, so that their kingdom will continue like a spring, as it is stated with regard to the coronation of Solomon before the death of David, and the king said to them, take with you the servants of your Lord, and let Solomon my son ride upon my mule, and bring him down to Gihon, and let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there, king over Israel. Anoint him there, and then king, not there, there, over there, king of Israel, and sound the shofar and say, long live King Solomon. 1 Kings 1:33-34. Amar ve'ami haidman de bailida imasik shte ila nitlesh raga beshla yehasara yobe de ben Rosh Hashanah liyom kippurim beveta de lo neshev zika imashech nehorech nida dimasek shte. Apropos, good omens, the Gemara cites a statement that Rabbi Ami said, this person who seeks to know if he will complete his year or not, meaning whether or not he will remain alive in the coming year, let him light a lamp during the 10 days that are between Rosh Hashanah and Kippur in a house in which wind does not blow. If his light continues to burn, he knows that he will complete his year. Uman de bayir mever v'yiskad, ubayir me'dayim masliach. That's hard to understand, that one. Wait, light a candle in a house in which wind does not blow. That's like, it's going to stay out lit for sure. So it's not even a challenge. So what's the thing about that? Secondly, is this an omen? And the Torah says not to do omens. Those are two questions. And anyone who seeks to conduct a business venture and wishes to know if he will succeed or not succeed, let him raise a rooster. If the rooster grows fat and healthy, he will succeed. Again, isn't this like divination? Hi man, the boy made back the orcha. This is in brackets. The boy made that he chazar hadar b'yasil beta hadar in brackets. Hadar ila nekom bebeta chabra yichazi b'bua debua leida deadar yatil beta vilav miltahi toma chal shadaite umetra mazale amarabai hashka down it simana milsahi. In brackets the olam. Yehi ragil mechazeh b'resh hatam krav rubia karate v'silka v'tamrei. One who seeks to embark on a journey and wishes to know if he will return to come to his home or if he will not, let him go into a dark house. If he sees the shadow of a shadow, he shall know that he will return and come home. The sages reject this. This omen is not a significant matter. Perhaps he will be disheartened if the omen fails to appear, and his fortune will suffer, and it is this that causes him to fail. Abai said, now that you said that an omen is a significant matter, a person should always be accustomed to seeing these on Rosh Hashanah. Squash, fenugreek, leeks, and chard, and dates, as each of these grows quickly and serves as a positive omen for one's actions during the upcoming year. Amar lahu Rabbi Shalshia Livrei Ki baitu me'al umigmare kame rabaichu gerusu matnita alul kame rabaichu כי הדביטו קמי חזו, לפומי דכתיב, והיו עיניך רואות את מורך. וכי גרסיתו, גרסו על נהרה דמיה. וכי היכי דמשכן מאיה, משכן שמעתה חיו, וטיבו אקיל כלי, דמתה מחסה, ולא טיבו, Apadne de Pumbedita Tav Gildana Saria in brackets Dimata Machasia Michal Mekutacha Dirame Kefe. Apropos to good omens. Apropos to good omens for anointing. It is stated in the prayer of Hannah, Samuel's mother, my horn is exalted, my God, 1 Samuel 2:1. The Gemara first, my horn is exalted, my jug is not exalted. David and Solomon were anointed with oil from a horn. This was a good omen for them, and their reign endured. Saul and Yehu were anointed with oil from a jug, and their reign did not endure. Hamashuach b'shem ha'mishcha b'kolei Tam Daron Mashiach Yachol Melech. So Lord Kohen, Kohen Yachol Meruam Begadim, Tamar Mashiach, Mashiach Yachol Mashuach Milchama, Tamurama Kohen Mashiach, Shein Mashiach Al Gaba. The Mishnah teaches, and who is the anointed priest? It is the high priest who is anointed with anointing oil, with the anointing oil, not the high priest consecrated by donning multiple garments. The sages taught, anointed is written in the verse Leviticus 6:15. One might have thought that the reference is to a king, therefore the verse states priest. If the reference is to a priest, one might have thought that the reference is to a priest consecrated by donning multiple garments, therefore the verse states anointed. If the reference is to one who is anointed, one might have thought that the reference is even to a priest anointed for war. Therefore, the verse states, "And the anointed priest," indicating that there is no anointed priest over him. Rather, he is the highest ranking priest. My mashma, kid amarava hayareach ha miumenet shvereach achanami hamashiach hamiuman shemeshuchim. The Gemara asks, from where is this inferred? The Gemara answers, it is as Rava said with regard to the term the thigh in the verse, the sciatic nerve that is on the hollow of the thigh. Genesis 32:33. The reference is to the stronger of the thighs. Here too, where the verse states the anointed, the reference is to the most distinguished of those anointed, meaning the high priest. Amar Mar Mashiach Yachol Melech Melech Par Hu Demaite Sair Hu Demaite Itzrich Sal Gadaite Chamina Al Shigigat Maase Yavi Sair Al Helem Davar Yavi Baal Kamashmalan. The Gemara analyzes the bright. The Master said anointed is written in the verse. One might have thought that the reference is to a king. The Gemara asks, is it a bull that a king brings for a sin offering? It is a male goat that he brings, as the Torah states explicitly later in that passage. The Gemara answers, it was necessary for the Tanakh to say this, as it may enter your mind to say, it is for the unwitting performance of an action for which all people are liable to bring a sin offering, that a king shall bring a male goat as his offering. But for absence of awareness of the matter, with the unwitting performance of an action, the king shall bring a bull. Therefore, the Tana teaches us that it is only the high priest who brings a bull. Ein b'meshuach v'shemen hamishcha kule. Masnisan delo karabimir di karabimir hatani beruba hatanya beruba begadim mevi par haba al kol hamitzvot divrei Rabbi Meir velo hoidu lo chachomim. The Mishnah teaches the difference between high priest anointing with the anointing oil and one consecrated by donning multiple garments is only that the latter does not bring the bull that comes for the transgression of any of the mitzvot. The Gemara comments, the Mishnah is not in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Meir, as if it was in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Meir, isn't it taught in a Braita, a priest who is consecrated by donning multiple garments brings a bull that comes for the transgression of any of the mitzvot. This is the statement of Rabbi Meir, but the rabbis did not concede that point to him. My time with Rabbi Meir de Tanya Mashiach Eli el Mashuach Mashem Mishcha Meruba Begadim Minayim Tamaloma HaKohen HaMashiach. The Gemara asks, what is the reason for the opinion of Rabbi Meir? Is it, as it is taught in the Braita, anointed is written in the verse, I have derived only a priest anointed with the anointing oil. From where do I derive the halakha of a priest who is consecrated by donning multiple garments? The verse states the anointed priest, from which it is derived that anyone who is appointed as the high priest is included, even if he was not anointed. But my okimte keraban. The Gemara asks, in accordance with which opinion did you interpret the Mishnah? It is in accordance with the opinion of the rabbis. This concludes 12a, and we'll start with 12b after the break. God willing.